70 seconds straight at Queen's Park Rangers lead. It's Drummer Forest, but it's party time for QPR, who found their mojo as they head to the playoffs.
Carlisle through the middle for Paul Furlong. Away from Hall. Furlong! He's got Zamora forward with him. Morrison's there as well. Pokes Zamora. Back it comes to Austin. Can he finish? Yes! He can! What a goal from Charlie Austin! What a breakout from Queen's Park Rangers!
If that hasn't whet your appetite, I don't know what will. The regular season is over. It's all come down to this for QPR. Welcome along to London Calling, this playoff special. We're going to be joined live by ours striker Charlie Austin, fresh from his 100th career goal. Quite incredible. He's only been playing professional football for 5 years. We're also going to be hearing exclusively from Paul Furlong about that game and that goal. And we're also going to be hearing from ours former player and manager Gerry Francis. He gives us a unique insight into what it's like from a manager's perspective and how he would be looking ahead to these playoffs if he was in the hot seat here at Loftus Road. We've got plenty more besides right here on London Calling, brought to you in association with Zach and Ian Taylor as well. Thanks very much for joining us. Good. A couple of interesting debates to come. Firstly, just regarding a competition, and it's probably the most eagerly anticipated competition of the season because 2 tickets are up for grabs for Monday night's sold-out game here at Loftus Road for the second leg against Wigan. And the question is, QPR beat Oldham in the 2003 playoff semi-final here at Loftus Road, but can you name the familiar face in the Oldham team that night? And it's not fits all. Tweet is using the hashtag LCI. We'll be picking our winner at random from all the correct entrants at the end of the show, and you will have 2 tickets for Monday night's game here in W12. Also, regarding the topic of debate, it is actually regarding your starting 11 for Friday's game against Wigan Athletic. We want to go through the formation, your back 4, back 5, your midfield and your attack, and we'll be picking the most popular choices, and then we'll draw up that starting 11 as chosen by you, the London Call-In viewers. So firstly, get in touch with us. We just want to know formation at this stage. Use hashtag LCI. What would be your formation for Friday night's game at Wigan? Would you go 4-4-2, 4-5-1? Would you go 3 at the back, 5 at the back? Let us know and we'll pick the most popular choice, and then we'll get going through with the defence, midfield and attack. And at the end of the hour, all being well, we'll have the London Call-In chosen starting 11. It's not like a competition and Harry has to play it, by the way, but just interesting to get your views on that. And firstly, Brian, how are we feeling? I see you're looking splendid in your blue and white hoops.
QPR fan, you've got to wear the... You know, when I come to a game, I can't wear my shirt, so I thought tonight I'm going to wear it. When I came in this evening, I was feeling quite relaxed. Sitting next to Tails here, I'm now getting a little bit nervous.
Are you nervous, Ian?
Very, very
yeah,
nervous.
And I can actually sense it. And I'm now beginning to, what was a season that I think a lot of the fans were building with the expectations of us going straight up, and there was a little bit of a flat end a couple of weeks ago. I think that's now in the past, and we've got the excitement and the crescendo of the playoffs, and I think that's really something to really, really look forward to. Our season goes on for at least another week, maybe another 3 weeks, and I think that's just fantastic.
And it is a fair point, Ian, with regards to what Brian's alluding to, that our season really, as far as the league was concerned, almost ended a few weeks ago. We weren't going to catch second, 7th wasn't going to catch us, so we've been in that limbo, certainly for the last couple of weeks, so now it's a case of all getting going again. Yeah,
certainly speaking to some of our colleagues at Derby today, they were saying that it was after Saturday's games where it kind of hit them. They've been in a similar situation to us. Of course, they've had third seal for a while. We've been, nailed on ready for 4 for a long while as well. And I think just on that train back on Saturday from Barnsley with a couple of the press guys, and we were chatting about, the week ahead, the big week ahead, and I'm a nervous wreck.
Well, wasn't it amazing, though? We didn't really know. At one time, we could have been going to Reading.
Yeah,
we could be up to Wigan
and Reading,
we were south, we were west, we were east. It was a very interesting and very typical end to the season.
How do you feel, Wigan?
Got to take them all on, haven't we?
Yeah.
You can't fear anyone.
personally, of the teams, would I have wanted to face Brighton, who came through the back door? No. Would I have wanted to face a Wigan side who I know results count for nothing, but we've got a good win against them here when we showed great spirit, great endeavour. The draw up at their place, I think the less said about that, the better. It was a pretty poor game, but I'm quietly confident. I am quietly confident.
And I suppose if you are going to face Wigan, there's the argument that
it's a good time to face them.
You don't want to be facing them at Wembley when they're so used to those surroundings.
Yeah,
well, you say they're used to that. I was talking actually.
Well, they are.
Well,
Brian.
more used to them than any of the other teams in the
four
playoffs.
times in the last 12 months.
But you know, they've been there, but it's a different day. On the day, you react differently, and it's you know, there's so much more at stake.
Yeah, I know what you're saying,
FA Cup final, semi-final.
I just wonder whether you talk about fine margins and them being used to that environment, those surroundings, that occasion, surely would give them an edge at Wembley. So if you are going to face them, is it better to face them?
Hopefully we're not going to find out, are we? We won't be playing them at Wembley.
Well, we won't be playing them at Wembley.
I think the point for me is, I mean, ticket sales have been outstanding. This place is sold out for Monday. And going to their place, we've already sold well in excess of 2,000 tickets, and we know Wigan aren't. You know, Wigan's a rugby town. Let's be brutally honest. It's a rugby town. Wigan Warriors rugby league team are huge. They're the talk of the town, regardless of how well Wigan are doing. Even when they won the FA Cup, you know, it's all still about Wigan Warriors. And I think if we can take 3,500 there on Friday, we can turn it into a real atmosphere that benefits our players.
Okay, and the last game of the regular season was against Barnsley. We'll talk about the team selection in just a moment because a few changes made by Harry. Let's just remind ourselves what happened when Rangers took on the Tykes at Oakwell.
is a natural energy drink containing only natural ingredients, fruit juices, ginseng, guarana, green tea and just a nip of natural caffeine from the green coffee bean. And there's enough fruit juice in each can to give you one of your 5 a day. Need a natural lift? Try Equate.
So a few changes to the starting lineup there. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but it looks like we've got a decision with regards to our formation from London Calling viewers for Friday's preferred formation. It's
going to be a 4-5-1 or, as we've just been discussing there, which can be a 4-4-1-1. Maverick 10 and Rangers are back amongst those guys that have suggested that that is the best formation. So, yeah, 4-5-1, which can obviously be adapted to a 4-4-1-1.
OK, so now we just need to know on the assumption we're going with Rob Green for between the sticks. No offence, Brian Murphy, if you're watching, but I'm guessing
down, actually,
it would be Rob Green that the majority will go with. Now we just need to know the back four, as it will be. So we've gone for the back four. So we need to know your back four. Who would make up your defence? Tweet us using hashtag LCI, and at the end of the show we'll see what our London Calling starting 11 would look like for Friday's game at Wigan. Barnsley, a good, always, obviously, not, also, to be fair, nice to get 3 points on the road because we've had a bad run of results away from home as well, losing our last 3 on the road, in fact.
First away win since Bobby's Bobble. Against
Bobble,
we didn't use it at the time. God, we missed a trick.
Yeah,
since the bobble up at Middlesbrough, and then obviously Ravel finished it off, didn't he, there in the last minute. But yeah, good performance. It was a bit testimonial-like at some stages. I mean, you do our match day PA, and it's fair to say you do a half-decent job at that. But the Barnsley guy was doing his utmost to try and get the atmosphere going pre-match, shouting all sorts, and it just didn't work. And it was a pretty drab contest for the first 15, 20 minutes. But then once we got out of first gear, Charlie obviously scored his 100th professional goal, and then Kevin Doyle did well. Actually, Kevin Doyle I thought played well, especially in the first half. And then we never really looked in too much trouble, really. You'll see this, a good ball in from Marvin Traore and a fine take from Charlie Austin, and him not celebrating kind of really summed up the atmosphere, because it did have a typical end of season feel to it.
I did notice that there was no celebration. It was almost,
it was quiet. I mean, it was a beautiful day there, and the Rangers fans, we saw a few on the way home, very red-faced, caught a lot of sun impacting that away, but it was a good exercise from our point of view, and we'll talk about in a minute, in the fact that we got the opportunity to blood Cole Donaldson, Michael Petrasso, as well as Traore and Austin, who needed game time. Niko Kranjcar ditto needed some game time. But yeah, a fairly regulation win, and probably 3-2 flattered the host somewhat. I thought we were certainly the better side on the day. Cole
Donaldson started, who obviously we signed in the summer from Livingston, marked as one for the future, and has actually been doing very well for the EDS under Mark Bircham and latterly Steve Gallant. Mike Petrasso came on for the closing stages. How did they fare?
They both did very well. One thing I am just going to touch on while we were showing this clip is, remember, this starting 11 is for the Wigan away game, not the home game. This is for the away game on Friday. Yeah, going back to your point, I thought after probably a very nervy 15-20 minutes from Cole, he certainly improved as the game wore on and won a lot of headers, both in the attacking third and the defensive third, and did well. And you'll see here when young Petrasso came on, he was dynamic, he was direct, and he had this opportunity there, and that would round off a really good 10-12 minute cameo from him. He did really well.
And he's a lot of people are talking about him because he has been doing very well through the academy, and obviously recently signed a pro contract, a 3-year pro contract with the club. One for the future, certainly.
Yeah, he's had a couple of good loan spells at Oldham and Coventry this year, and certainly impressed the staff, certainly the EDS staff. Steve Gannon and co have been really impressed, and Harry's obviously taken a shine to him, seen what he's done in training, seen what he did in the final here last week, which they were unlucky to lose to Crewe 1-0, and yeah, he looks a good prospect. Whether or not first team football for him next year is the right thing will remain to be seen, but certainly, one that has got a very bright future at Loftus Road.
But it's interesting because I think was it last week or the week before, we had Alan phone us complaining that we weren't trying any of the youngsters or any of the peripheral players, and we were saying that we just needed to make sure that we had that playoff place secure. Well, okay, unfortunately it wasn't until the penultimate game of the season that we knew we were going to be in 4th place, but Harry did what he wanted to do and what we wanted to do, give those players an opportunity to come out and play a first team game, and again, albeit against Barnsley, who are already relegated, but it's first team exposure and it's good for them.
And Charlie getting his 100th career goal, a fine achievement in 189 appearances, incredible achievement.
Fantastic achievement.
It's incredible, especially when, sorry to interrupt, when I think he was laying bricks 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah,
It really
absolutely
is.
amazing. Made his professional debut in October 2009. It's quite frightening. It's great for him, obviously, but is it good that he's got that out of the way? You wouldn't want him to psychologically be stuck on 99
Do
and becoming
players think
something.
that? Do players think that? We'll ask him that afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, having spoken to him after the game, he said it was there somewhere. He knew that he was close to 100, but I don't think he knew he was on 99.
Right.
So I don't think it was one that was, on his mind throughout the game. I mean, I think he was just delighted to be back out there. He actually joked with us at the start that there was a match ball being signed by all the players, and he joked and said, "I'll be taking that home with me later." And he obviously didn't get the 3 goals, but he got, like you say, another good hour under his belt on a goal, which will do him. That's three games in a row now he scored.
Yeah, well,
he's well and truly back.
Exactly, because
there was that worry, wasn't there?
And also,
time.
yeah, precisely. At the start of the season when he first joined us, he scored in the League Cup, but league-wise it took him 6 games to get that first goal.
And I was worried that after the injury that was going to happen
and
again.
coming back, there was 3 games he hadn't scored, and you almost like, just score. We just need you to get a goal before we go into the playoffs. So to get 3 and 3. From a neutral, you'd look there and say, well, he's almost guaranteed. I mean, it's a kiss of death, sorry, Charlie, but you look from a neutral and think, well, he's almost guaranteed to score at some point during the playoffs because
he'll be confident because he's played in these big games, not necessarily in the Championship, but he's played in the Wembley final. Of course, we'll ask him about that later.
Yeah.
He played in the playoff final, didn't he, for Swindon? So he's got that experience, and nothing seems to faze Charlie Austin. The bigger the occasion. The more, look at that game where he scored in the last minute. Everyone was expecting and waiting for something to happen against Watford, weren't they? And the ball broke down, Bobby recycled it well, and then Charlie puts a fantastic right foot shot into the far corner. And you sense that he could be the man for the big occasion. There's no bigger than obviously Friday night from a QPR perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, just a reminder for the London Calling topic of debate. Send us your defence. We're going to have a back 4 added to this team very shortly.
2 positions are already confirmed.
2 positions are confirmed.
Danny Simpson at right back and Nedum Anua, one of the centre-half positions, are in everybody's, but there's some debate about the other 2 positions.
Okay, so the other centre-back to pair with Nedum Anua and the left-back as well. So tweet us using hashtag LCI so we can add to that. Of course, it's all about the playoffs. We have mixed memories of the playoffs, an incredible high, a devastating low. Let's forget about the low. It's not important, is it? Let's look at the high.
So it come down to this. One game at Loftus Road, the winner would take their place against Cardiff City in the Millennium Stadium. And Rangers nearly got off to a flying start. Paul Furlong picked up McLeod. His first touch slightly let him down, and his shot was tipped away by Pavlyukovo. And Darius Sherman's drive was deflected wide, which Chris Day looked to have it covered. After a goalless first half, went into the second half with both teams having their chances. And Richard Paquette was unlucky with that effort. And then Paul Furlong sent the crowd into absolute raptures. Carlisle's hopeful ball through the middle, picked out Paul Furlong, one touch away from Hall. Out comes Pavlyukovo. Thank you very much. We're going to Cardiff. Richard Paquette was coming back for an offside position, but he wasn't deemed to be interfering with play. Paul Furlong held off the highly rated Hall before slotting it home. From the free kick, the ball was chipped in, and Chris Day produced what can only be described as a wonder save. So the whistle goes, and QPR make their first ever trip to the Millennium Stadium.
Okay, just a reminder of the competition as well to win 2 tickets to Monday's game, which of course is sold out now here at Loftus Road against Wigan, the second leg of the playoff semi-final. The question is, QPR beat Oldham in the 2003 playoff semi-final here at Loftus Road. Can you name the familiar face in the Oldham team that night? It's not Fitzhall. Tweet us using hashtag LCI, and we'll give away 2 tickets before the end of the show. We talk about Paul Furlong's goal, which, Brian, you were here that night. It must have been incredible.
It was incredible. Actually, you know, you were asking me what my memories of the night were. My memories really of the night that stick out were Tony Vincenzo's celebrations. I think he was doing radio for Capital Gold at the time. And when first scored that goal, he literally got out of his seat and he was running up and down the stairs, cheering like nobody's business.
Don't they say that the stadium, people felt the stadium actually shake?
The stadium actually, you felt the whole place erupt, and it was just full of emotion and cheering and crying, and it was just the most wonderful feeling, and you've got to be there to feel it, and to try and explain it's very difficult.
We spoke to a couple of fans outside today, me and Adam, for some Vox Pops, and they were saying that atmosphere-wise, in the last few years, only really that Chelsea game when they had Drogba and our mate Jose got sent off as well, didn't they? That is the only game that really compares to that. So, I mean, roll on Monday. Games under lights here are always, for me personally, better than the Saturday games 3 o'clock in terms of atmosphere. Yeah. And if, fingers crossed, this starting 11, which we're going to pick and give to Harry tomorrow, if that starting 11 gets a positive result on Friday,
there'll be some atmosphere here on a Monday night. Okay, we've now got our back 5 confirmed. If you can see that, we've got Rob Green in goal from right to left, Danny Simpson, Neda Manua, Clint Hill, and Yoon Suk Young gets the left-back berth. Quite a close one.
Yeah, that was close. I mean, a lot of people, I think, were impressed with Yoon, not just on Saturday, but also against Middlesbrough earlier this season when he did well. And obviously Richard Dunn has been missing. He's missed a couple of games recently, but people have gone with that. I think the skipper was never going to be left out, was he? Clint. And then they've gone for Yoon. So, yeah, a lot of variations, but... you know, Richard Dunn at centre-half, Clint Hill at left-back was another option, but I think the majority, and I haven't really had a chance to go through everyone, but I think that was the majority.
Well, I mean, I was going for Danny Simpson, Richard Dunn, Neda Manua and Clint Hill, but I was sort of pushed,
Clint at left-back.
Suk Young, would he be... Well. He's been done very well, but again, has he got the experience?
I think that something that will worry Harry, certainly at the game, is McManaman and McLean, who can both play down that right side, can alternate, both quite pacey, both quite tricky, and Yoon certainly gives you that pace. He certainly gives you that youthfulness, as opposed to Clint, who certainly in my opinion is a far better centre-half and a more reliable centre-half.
Okay, this team is a team chosen by you, the London Call-In viewers. So we've got the back 5 there. What we need now is our midfield, and we've gone, as chosen by you, a 4-5-1 formation is your formation of choice. So who would be in your midfield? We need 5 names. Tweet us using hashtag LCI 451 or 4411.
So we're going to have one in the hole.
So tweet us using the hashtag LCI your midfield. And we were just talking about Paul Furlong's goal. 11 years on, he doesn't look a day older. Quite incredible. We caught up with him earlier this week to reminisce about that game and that goal.
First, obviously, we're building up to the playoffs, something that you well know. Looking back to that night against Oldham Athletic, where does that, in terms of atmospheres, rank in your career?
Most definitely, right up there, right up there. I remember the night like it was yesterday. I had family and friends that were there as well. My boys were very young and they witnessed it as well, and I'm pleased that they were there. I can just remember, you know, the goal. I remember Clark Carlisle clearing the ball from our defensive third, and it's gone right over the top, missed out the midfield third, and it's gone over the top of the centre back. And I think me and Fitz Hall, if I remember rightly, were chasing for the ball, and I mean he's lunging to make a tackle. I've blocked his foot, and then slid it in the far left-hand corner as we looked at the goal, you know. And to say, I mean, people have said that the whole place shook, and it did seem like that, you know. It was just such a fantastic occasion, and the top came off and all that, and it was just like really, you know, really, as I said, great to be there, great to be involved with it, you know, fantastic.
You obviously had first-hand experience of it on that night. How important a role can the QPR fans play, especially at Loftus Road?
Massive, especially at Loftus Road, as you rightly said. Yeah, I mean, it's a tight ground, a compact ground, you know, and you know, they speak about it where the fans can be like a 12th man, and they can most definitely do that. The boys at Loftus Road, you know, that once they get behind you, it is some force.
And obviously, I have to ask you, how do you think QPR are going to fare in the playoffs then?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see, you look at the team that the players down on paper, they've got a great team, and it's just about getting the blend right, and as I said, when they go into the playoffs, I feel very strongly that they can, come off with the right results, and it'll be great. It'll be great to see QPR back in the Premiership.
Andy Watkins, our roving reporter there, catching up with Paul Furlong. The atmosphere, he spoke about it there. He mentioned, like Brian did, about it feeling like the whole place was shaking. It's important, and you'd imagine it's going to be created anyway, the atmosphere on Monday night. Are there any special plans in place with regards to that?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of people ask me via social media what is planned. There's going to be a mosaic. You've probably seen them. Mosaic?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how you say it.
They both sounded the same when you just said it.
Okay, thanks for that. You've seen good ones recently at Bayern Munich, Liverpool, and one at Atletico Madrid as well, and Real Madrid. The one I can't quite say they'll be on the scale of Atletico and Real's ones recently, but there's going to be a mosaic of sorts planned, which we're confident will look really good. The fans will be taking part in that, just as the teams are coming out the tunnel. So
excellent.
Yeah,
when will full details of that be?
Monday.
Come on Monday.
Yeah, there's going to be 18,000 sheets or cards put out in each seat before Monday. So yeah, we'll be revealing full details then. But yeah, fingers crossed, touching wood, it'll all look great.
Excellent. Okay. Gerry Francis, we caught up with earlier as well. Of course, he had great success only last night. He's now a coach at Crystal Palace. Quite an incredible game there at Selhurst Park. We'll be bringing you that interview now in just a sec. But firstly, his son Adam Francis, who and Jake as well, his other son. Both sons are involved in a band called Lost Lady Luck. Adam, of course, was.
Should have said goodbye when you took my hand and you made me laugh. I wanna be high in the sky, so I do.
And there you go. That's Lost Lady Luck, who are doing very, very well. Best of luck to Adam and Jake there on that. Well, Gerry Francis, as I say, we caught up with him earlier, and here's what he had to say.
Gerry, thanks very much for joining us on London Calling this evening. Firstly, we've just been listening to Lost Lady Luck, a band that two of your sons, Adam and Jake, are both involved in. It sounds like they're going very well.
Yeah, it's been going okay. I mean, it was only August of last year that Adam, was a professional at Queen's Park Rangers, and it had the band for about 4 years anyway, but obviously he did brilliantly to become a professional. I think he spent about six, 7 years at Queen's Park Rangers. I just turned my phone off there. And he decided that, he had to make a decision really, one way or the other. I don't think he could do both, and he decided to obviously go on the lines of music, and a brave decision. But it's gone pretty well. They played at London Hippodrome. They've Neither Radio, Talk Sport, Bristol Radio, and they're playing at London Rocks at the Café de Paris in Leicester Square on the 5th of June with Lamar and a number of other very well-known singers. So Touchwood is going okay.
It seems like they've got their dad's gene for entertainment has come through to them.
Well, I certainly haven't got my gene for playing instruments because I wasn't very good there, Paul, but I think in life you've got to do what you want to do in life because life's so short sometimes, and whatever they wanted to do, whatever it was, obviously as a family and a dad would support them.
Great stuff. Well, we'll be interested to see how Lost Lady Luck get on in the future. Turn into, current matters firstly, Gerry. I couldn't speak to you today without mentioning what happened last night. Of course, you're a coach now at Crystal Palace and came from 3-0 down to draw 3-3 in the final 10 or 11 minutes. That was some finish. You must have enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think the one thing I said at the end, I said if we learned anything from this game is it's never over till the fat lady sings. And that was certainly the case last night. I thought it was a very good game. I thought we played well first half, but we were a goal down. And they got a deflection early in the second half and then scored again. They got some wonderful players, particularly going forward. And you'd think at that stage, it was going to be very, very difficult. But to be fair, it's been a tough 6 months, since I got there with Tony. We're bottom of the league, and it's been very stressful. And it's, obviously 3 teams have to go down. Nobody wants to go down. Players, managers, fans, directors, and because it's worth so much money financially to clubs to stay in that Premier League. And the one thing they have done is they've shown some real guts and determination and spirit, and obviously I think that was shown in abundance last night with our comeback.
That guts, determination and spirit are going to be required if QPR are going to be successful in the playoffs. Firstly, what do you make of QPR's season so far, the regular season now finished?
Well, obviously, I've been obviously 5 years at Stoke and then obviously started again this year at Crystal Palace, so I haven't had a great deal of time to actually see the first team play, sitting on telly a few times. I thought they started unbelievably well, and it was X amount of games before they got beaten, wasn't it? Wasn't scoring quite many goals, but they were getting results and winning games, and at the end of the day, that's what counts, and they were in a very, very good position. And then it just seemed to, they had a couple of defeats, which you have to have in any league, and but then they just seemed to lose their consistency level, and I know they had a few injuries, but they've got a massive squad really in terms of players and personnel for the Championship, and along with Wigan, I think it's got two really good squads there, and certainly you expected them to come through that a little bit quicker and a little bit earlier, and they sort of drifted away from the top two and got sort of in the middle of the playoff situation and with some unconvincing results. But lately, obviously, they've had a couple of really good wins, which I think is probably important for them to go into the playoffs.
As a manager, how do you approach the playoffs? Do you try to keep it the same like any other game, or do you recognise the fact that it's very different?
Well, I think it depends how you've come into the playoffs. I've come into the playoffs when you've just got in and you're on a run, you've just got in sixth position, and sometimes that can give you a real momentum and buzz. Other times, you can finish in third place and just have been a few points out of going up, and you feel disappointed, do you understand, automatically, and so that takes a bit of getting in mind. Come on, we've got to do it now. We're unfortunate, we've got to make up. We've still got a chance of going up with another 2 games. And then sometimes in QPR's case, where you've come into the end of the season, not particularly played very well, but then you get a couple of wins and Charlie Austin back as well, and that might give you that little bit of momentum to go in. But in terms of approaching them from a tactical or a coaching point of view, you'd very much be doing the same sort of things. I mean, it's coming to the end of a long season. They're fit enough now, so you wouldn't have to do that. It's more important is getting them prepared mentally, I think, for the challenge ahead. That's the most important thing, and getting them right to put off 2 really massive performances to get you through to that final. And it's a tough game against Wigan. They're pretty evenly matched for me.
Like you say, it's going to take a couple of big performances. Uwe Roslin's done an excellent job at Wigan. When he took over in December, they were closer to relegation than they were to the playoffs, so they're certainly a team that's been on the up for the second half.
Yeah, I think they were underachieving there, really, because they were a few games, quite a lot of games behind at the time, and then, of course, we played them in the FA Cup, actually. We played very well. It was a close game, but again, they showed, against us, they've got a squad that's well equipped on their day to give Premier League teams a game, and they showed that by their victories in the FA Cup and where they went, beating Man City and everything else along the way. So certainly on their day, they're a very formidable side and squad. And I would say the same, in terms of Queen's Park Rangers, in terms of the players they've got, and it was only a little short time ago that they were in the Premier League, that had Premiership experience. They're very, very evenly matched, so I think it could be down to just, as it normally is in football, on the day, what happens, who turns up on the day.
Since their FA Cup defeat to Arsenal on penalties, they've lost 4 of their last 6 Championship fixtures. Do you think the FA Cup run could have a bearing?
Yeah, as I say, what's happened is, in terms of QPR and Wigan, from having an unbelievable run, as you say, last 2 games they've lost games that you think they probably would have won. So, from their point of view, you could say they're a little bit more of a down from that point of view, whereas QPR won a couple of games after a very indifferent run of games. So, but at the end of the day, I think all of that necessarily goes out the window. It's just what happens on the day. Can you turn up on the day and can you perform? And you need that bit of luck that you need in all football matches. you certainly needed to have that little bit of luck with you, but sometimes you make your own luck. But the pressure as well, you know, this is the whole season now for these two teams. Someone's going to go through and have a chance for the Premier League, and someone's going to go out and their season's finished.
You often hear the cliche of the fans being the 12th man. How big a role will they play in these next two fixtures?
They'll play a massive role, I think, in terms of you know, giving players belief and getting behind them. And I've just been at two football clubs. Stoke City were absolutely fantastic for the first 3 years, particular at Stoke, and keeping us in the Premier League, particularly our home form. Come to Crystal Palace, it's absolutely the same. They've been fantastic this year for 6 months. And as you saw them last night, absolutely fantastic. And so that's vitally important. That makes you best player out on that pitch at home, you know, feel 6 foot tall, so that everybody's behind you. So that is massive. But I'm sure in such important games that both sets of supporters will be, you know, 100% behind their team and their club, because this is vital for both clubs. You know, they both would have been looking to get back into Premier League this year, and unfortunately, you know, one is going to be able to, or have a chance to, and one isn't.
And in the other playoff semi-final, Derby face Brighton. Who do you fancy for that one, and who do you fancy overall?
I think Derby have looked very strong. They've got a strong squad as well, and since Steve's gone there, Stephen Curran, they've done really well. So you probably would edge for them over 2 legs. But then you have Brighton, that's come from nowhere, just ready as a place. And they've got that momentum, and they have got some, you know, some decent players and a decent side on their day. So it's so difficult to call playoffs, because in many cases the team that finishes 6th is the one that actually gets through and goes up. And if you look at all the record books of all the playoffs, that sometimes happens just because you've got that great momentum and you feel so fortunate you've just squeezed in. But again, it's so difficult, I mean, you know, who would have given Crystal Palace any chance of taking a point from the game 3-0 down with 12 minutes to go against a team that are looking to become champions? You just cannot say what's going to happen in football for me.
You think QPR have a good chance?
Yeah, of course they've got a good chance. I mean, I would have expected QPR, I think, from the start of the season on paper, and I would have expected them to have got automatic promotion, me personally. But it's a tough league, and they started brilliantly, but they still have, you know, for me, enough quality about them to win these 2 games. But again, it's about, you know, who and what turns up on the day. That's the most important thing, and you need that bit of fortune. So you have to say probably that all of the teams that are in the playoffs have the chance of winning it. Otherwise, over the period of games and the period of the season, they wouldn't be there in the first place, and they're all shown they're capable of winning football matches, and that's what it's about. So it's going to be, I find it very difficult to call, to be honest, the 4 teams. I wouldn't be surprised if results went either way, but obviously with my QPR hat on, you'd really hope that they can win those 2 games and get back in the Premier League where they deserve to be, hopefully.
Thoughts there of Gerry Francis. Our thanks to him for his time earlier. A very close one to call. I think he shares the views of many. The playoffs are always very difficult to gauge, really. And there's 4, as he said, there's 4 excellent teams in there, and any of the 4 could quite easily win it.
Yeah, I think it's
a bold statement by you.
merely reiterating Gerry's views. It's good enough for Gerry. It's good enough.
4 teams in there, and they can all win it. Yeah. People will be frightened of Brighton, I think, coming through the back door like they have right in the last minute with that Alua goal. It's the drama of the playoffs. You'd expect the unexpected, I think. Yeah.
We now have our midfield, and it was quite close yet again, which again I suppose shows the strength of the squad. On the right we've got Yussi Benayoun. On the left, I always see 18, think of Del Tarab, Armand Traore. In the middle, Joey Barton and Carl Henry, with Ravel Morrison at the top of that. And I think it seems to be quite close between Carl Henry and Tom Carroll. Junior Hoylett also got quite a few mentions, with some suggesting perhaps he's better to come off the bench.
Last
and
20,
perhaps,
25 minutes in a game, that's when you really want.
I think
something
Carl
like
Henry
that.
got the nod because it's an away game.
against
breaking
the
up
team that
possession,
keep the
keeping
ball so well.
Yeah, and I think people would probably, you know, if we're chasing a game, Tom Carroll's a better option because whereas Carl might look to play safe, Carroll, and I know he's not the most popular amongst Rangers fans, he always looks to pass the ball forward, always takes responsibility, always looks for the ball. So maybe in that home game, I mean, this is only our team. Harry probably doesn't care what we think. Actually, he won't care what we think. But yeah, it's there's one or two different selections in there than I would have made personally.
But pretty well, if you look at the selections, most of the fans that are actually doing their selections, pretty well looking at the same starting lineup. And
There's a
couple for Niko Kranjcar as well.
Yeah, and I mean Gary O'Neill as well. He's always done very well when he's played.
And who's to say who they're going to pick up front? I mean, it's anyone's guess.
Absolutely. I mean, that really is up there for grabs. So who would be up front for the most pointless tweets of the evening? Tweet us using hashtag LCI. We've only got space
Tweet us Charlie Austin using the hashtag LCI.
We've only got space for one because of your chosen formation of 4-5-1. So tweet us Charlie Austin, then we can get on with naming the starting 11. And now looking at the Charlie, we're going to speak to very shortly, in fact, so please do pick him. It would be very embarrassing if you don't, and then we get him on the phone. But we were speaking earlier about the togetherness of the team as well. It does seem that there's a closeness within the group which is arguably stronger than in 2011 when we won promotion.
I certainly think so. I mean, we were fortunate enough to be, well, we have been fortunate enough to be around both squads. And there does appear to be a unity at the moment. There's this whole find a way hashtag that's been on Twitter that the guys have come up with, and the club's hashtag We Are Together as well. And that doesn't just relate to the fans and the club. I also think it really relates to the current squad, like you said.
Yeah.
There is a great spirit, a great togetherness. And that does go a long way. People will say, well, you know, spirit can only get you so far, and I agree with that. But you know, combined with the quality that we've got as well, I think yeah, togetherness and spirit is
But you've seen it
sky
on the
high.
pitch, haven't you? You've seen it on the field. I think we've only had one game coming around the world where there was a little bit of disparity amongst the players.
The thing for me on Saturday, sorry to interrupt, was when Yun scored, everybody went to him.
Yeah.
And there's been a number of occasions. I mean, you look back to last year, that certainly wasn't the case, was it?
Yeah, no.
There's been a number of occasions where everybody's scored.
There's one man who has been responsible for a lot of those goal celebrations, and that is Charlie Austin, who joins us now. Good evening, Charlie. Charlie, can you hear us? Okay, we've lost him there, so we'll try and get
training at the moment.
We'll try and get him back on. But like we were saying, 100 goals in 189.
Well, that's an amazing achievement.
Professional appearances is
unbelievable.
Quite incredible, and like we say, it's so encouraging that he's now back in the goals as well with 3 in his last 3. And you could sense when he scored his first one back after injury that the place just erupted, and it was more. It wasn't just him scoring. There was more to it than that, wasn't there? It was the feeling of good. He's got that first goal since his return, and he joins us now. Good evening, Charlie. Charlie, hiya, mate. Thanks for joining us. We were just discussing your 100 goals in 189 professional appearances. It's not a bad topic to start the evening on, is it? Obviously not good enough. No, obviously not good enough. He's like, oh my God.
Do I have to talk about it again?
Not another one.
What an awful first question, and he's hung up on me. But hopefully we'll catch up with him. But we talk about the unity. How important do you think that could be over the next 2, hopefully 3 games?
Well, it's so important. I mean, you said it. You need that unity. You need the team together. And you know, if we're going to go up to Wigan, we've got to be playing as one unit.
Okay, well, let's see now. Hopefully he can hear us now. Charlie, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Charlie? A slight technical. Charlie Austin, can you hear us?
Almost.
He's not coming through at the moment. Okay, we can't get him on at the moment. We'll keep trying. Hopefully we'll get him on.
Just going back to your point about spirit and togetherness, and I do believe it does play a big part, but for me, in the Premier League this year, as has been shown on a number of occasions, no one is closer and tighter than that Liverpool squad. But then you look at the last 2 games, all right, they lost to Chelsea, and you know, people were saying it was a Mourinho masterclass, but the spirit last night when they went 3-1, 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, it does play a part,
Yeah.
obviously, to get Liverpool and QPR to an extent where they are today. But you also need that quality on the pitch. You need to turn up for the big occasions.
Yeah, absolutely. One aspect we haven't spoken about as yet, actually, which is certainly worth mentioning. Paul Furlong was recently announced. He's the under-18s full-time manager now, which I think a lot of QPR fans would be delighted to hear.
Oh, it's fantastic because he's again one of these QPR legends. I remember when he first came, everyone associated him with Chelsea, and there was a little bit of animosity towards him. And then gradually he got himself established as a QPR legend, and I think it's just fantastic that he's come back. He had some time at Barnet, and he's come back to QPR, and it's a place where I feel is his home, and I think it's a great achievement for him. Yeah,
there's always a clamour, isn't there, for ex-pros to be involved at the club, and I think that's something that the current hierarchy are keen to do as and when the time is right, and it has to be the right footballing decision first and foremost. But Furs has done a good job. Obviously, you've got the Gallen name as well with Steve Gallen at EDS level as well. So we lost Birchie, didn't we, to Millwall? The word on. We should mention him and Ollie and the good job they've done at keeping Millwall up. Ditto Gareth Ainsworth, ditto Sean Derry.
Derry was an incredible afternoon football for ex-QPR boys, wasn't it? Yeah, and great to see them all doing well. You can see what I meant, particularly to Gareth Ainsworth crying on the pitch at the end.
Actually, Notts County's chairman as well as a QPR fan, so it's a good day all around.
Yeah, absolutely. We've actually got a clip we're going to show you shortly. It was a recent photo shoot at Loftus Road, and Charlie Austin and Joey Barton had a little bit of banter. We've got that video coming up in a second. I'll just give you the background to that. But before we do that, we're going to have one final attempt to get QPR's number 9 live on the show. Charlie, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Charlie? Charlie, can you hear us? I thought I could hear him there for a split second. Charlie, can you hear us? No, unfortunately not. I think we're going to have to let that one go. But yeah, there was a photo shoot at Loftus Road recently, and Charlie Austin and Joey Barton sat down to do an interview for Monday night's programme, for the matchday programme. Now, the history to it is this. Joey Barton conducted a quiz with our programme editor, Matt Webb. He was up against Charlie Austin, they ended up drawing it, went to a tie-break. One of the questions was, where do Barcelona play their home games? The answer was the Nou Camp or Camp Nou. Now, Joey Barton insists that it's called the Camp Nou, not the Nou Camp, in the same way at Loftus Road it's called Loftus Road, not Road Loftus. So there was a speculation that was an issue, and I've just been told we don't have that either. This is an absolute shambles, a shambles. So forget everything I've just said. Forget it all.
But you can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/officialQPR.
It's all going wrong ahead of the play.
It's well worth watching. We're deliberately using up all QPR's bad luck. We're using it up now, so there is none on Friday or on Monday. With regards to the game against Wigan on Friday, how do you think QPR should approach it? Approach it not to lose, our away record isn't great, or should we be more attack-minded?
I think that we're going to come and batter us because they're going to try and use their home advantage.
Possession-wise, I hope, but not goals-wise.
Yeah, well, yes, obviously they're possession again, and they're going to try and attack. So, I mean, I think we've got to obviously, that's why we're looking at a 4-5-1. That's why I was looking at a 4-5-1 formation, because I think we're going to be battered, but I think we'll be able to get them on the break. It's going to be hard. I mean, they're there. They want to get to Wembley. They want to get back into the Premier League. And what was the question? I can't even remember the question.
Do you think we should approach it looking not to lose it, or looking to gain the advantage?
Can I just say that's a silly question.
Oh.
But why are you going to look at a game?
It's all going wrong now. Brian's turned on me.
Not to lose. We're going up there to win, or at worst get a draw. We're not looking there to lose. So
no, not looking not to lose. As in, the important thing is to come away with the draw. Anything beyond that is a bonus.
Yeah, I mean, as I said a few weeks ago, as long as we draw one and win one of the two, we're at Wembley.
Yeah.
So
state the obvious, Brian.
Well, he was stating the obvious before as well.
So should we approach not to lose then?
Well, obviously.
Okay,
obvious,
so we shouldn't.
Here's another one. Would you take a 1-0 defeat?
No.
Would you not back us to win by 2 clear goals?
Yes,
I wouldn't chance it.
Well, no, it's hypothetical, isn't it? But
no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't take a 1-0 loss. To be honest with you, no.
Okay, so
what about a 2-0 loss?
Well, there we go.
Are you still in?
2-0 loss? Yeah, I take a 2-0.
Are you still in the game at 2-0? If you lose the first leg 2-0, are you still in the tie?
It's far more difficult because you've got.
He's going to stay in the office.
Yeah, I'm going to stay in the office because you're going to have to go flat out at home, and then you're going to leave yourself exposed at the back. So you've got to come back with a win, hopefully, but a draw in a worst case scenario.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
can I get myself out of that one?
That's the thing, and then the all-important home advantage. How key is that to have that second leg? Of course, particularly if it goes into extra time and, God forbid, penalties.
Well, don't even talk to me because we think of Vauxhall Motors, so extra time and penalties don't bode too well with me.
Yeah, I mean, people often talk about home advantage in the second leg when the away goals count. There's obviously no away goals, as Colin Kettle's just asked that on Twitter. There's no away goals. It'll go, if the scores are tied after 180 minutes, it'll be penalty kicks. Which nobody wants. But yeah, I think home advantage is key, especially with our fans, especially with the atmosphere they can create. It's going to be, it's going to be a complete sellout in the QPR areas. Not quite sure how many we're going to bring, maybe 400 or 500, something like that, perhaps. So yeah, I think home advantage is key.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that was the whole point of us wanting to end up in fourth place, so we get second.
And Harry made that point, didn't he?
Yes.
In the last couple of weeks.
And we wanted second leg at home for that home advantage.
Okay, just a reminder of our competition. You've still got a couple of minutes to enter, and you might be able to grab those 2 tickets to Monday night's game here at Loftus Road. The question is, QPR beat Oldham in the 2003 playoff semi-final at Loftus Road. Can you name the familiar face in the Oldham team that night? Tweet us using hashtag LCI, as I say, to win 2 tickets to Monday night's game here at Loftus Road against Wigan in the playoff semi-final second leg, which is completely sold out in the home end already, which is no great surprise, and it just whets the appetite for what should hopefully be, well, I mean, like you say, you remember the 2003 fixture against Oldham very well, and, potentially we've got memories that will last a lifetime to be made over the next week.
And a trip to Wembley, because I say unfortunate, but we had the trip to the Millennium, which doesn't have that same feel, that same...
Yeah, I think sides that perhaps progressed to the FA Cup final in the years since have been a little bit disappointed that their day in the sun was at Cardiff and not Wembley, because it just has that whole aura surrounding it.
That's it. And to be at Wembley, the new Wembley as it's now called, it'll be the most amazing outing for us. And we as QPR fans, we look back to our last victory in 1967. It would be great to sort of go there and do the same again.
Okay, we are incredible. Confirmation there of the team as chosen by you. You opted by a democratic vote. 4-5-1 formation. Rob Green in goal. Back four. Danny Simpson at right back. Yun-Suk Young at left back. Clint Hill and Neda Manua at centre back. And into midfield, Yussi Benayoun wide on the right. Armand Traore on the left. Joey Barton in the middle with Cole Henry. Ravel Morrison playing just off Charlie Austin. And I suppose, like we were saying, perhaps it was a lot of debate over the midfield. Well, Junior Hoylett got a few mentions, Tom Carroll got a few mentions, Gary O'Neill as well. But I suppose perhaps the majority of London Calling viewers going there with a view to, as we say, playing at a Wigan team who will have a lot of the possession. You would assume it is a strong team there.
Well, I think Wigan, along with Brighton, the side that keep possession, probably the best in the entire division. So. There's going to be good football played, I think. It will be end-to-end, I'm sure. I don't think there'll be too much given away in the first leg. I think both sides will probably be happy if they came away with a draw. Even Wigan, I think they'd probably be quite content heading to Loftus Road, whether it's 0-0, 1-1, something like that. But, yeah, it looks on paper, it looks a really good team. It wouldn't have been the team I picked, but certainly if Harry picks that team on Friday,
It'll be
I'll be happy.
interesting to see what team Harry does. Yeah. And if he's watching tonight, is he going to listen to anything that we're saying? But
I doubt he'll be watching.
No, but seriously, what sort of team is he going to be looking at? How is he going to be viewing?
And also, there is a genuine question about what formation we would play. Well, there was an interesting point made earlier. A lot of people have said QPR keep changing their formations, etc. I think we've had 4 different formations this season. Wigan have had 7.
Incredible tweet just come through from Charlie Estin. Sorry. Couldn't get on London Calling tonight. You all know what I would have said. Let's find a way to get where we all want to be. #promotion.
Excellent. Lovely from Charlie Austin. And shame we couldn't get him on. Hopefully we'll be able to get him on to look ahead to a big final at Wembley. Who knows? There's a lot of football to be played before that.
Well, he's played in one, hasn't he?
Of course.
He played in one for Swindon, so he's got that experience. That was remarkable. There's an exclusive interview in the Next Insider magazine, which is out later this month, and we interviewed Charlie at his home, didn't we? And incredible to think that in pre-season for Poole Town, he was playing in front of the equivalent of one man and his dog, and then he was playing in front of 70,000 at Wembley 8 months on.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
amazing,
yourself moment,
amazing rise, and the way he's handled the step up and the pressure, because he's coming at a QPR and there is a lot of goal scoring pressure on his shoulders.
Oh, it's all eyes on him every time he gets that ball.
Absolutely, but it doesn't seem to faze him. I'll tell you what, the biggest groan I've heard at Loftus Road all season is when the physio assessed Charlie Austin on the pitch and then did that, and you could, I think there was 16,500 eyes on the physio's hands. And
but remarkably in that, he picked himself up, scored,
and then went
back down with an injury. And it was amazing afterwards. I remember speaking to Charlie, I said to him, "How are you?" He said, "I don't think it's that bad." And then obviously he goes for the scan, and then worst fears are confirmed.
But we weren't expecting him back this season. There was a talk that he wasn't going to come back.
Yeah, that's true.
And how timely his return as we're going into the playoffs. As you say, three goals in 3 games. It's just perfect timing for him.
Absolutely.
And the one good thing as well is obviously people 6 games ago were fearing about Joey Barton and the 3 bookings that were hanging over his head. Didn't pick up any bookings in that period, albeit missed a couple of games in those last few. But he's now clear. So even if he did get booked, and touch wood he won't, but if he did get booked in both semi-finals, he'd still be free to play in the final. Should we get there?
And of course, with Ravel Morris and the timing of Ravel, just in case we got into the playoffs. And again, the planning has gone absolutely perfectly, and let's just hope it carries on Friday night and then again on Monday.
Ravel Morrison, who is in line to win West Ham's Goal of the Season award tonight, I believe. They've got their annual gala up at the Grosvenor, and I saw something online earlier. His goal against Spurs, that won the goal. I think maybe 6 weeks or so before he joined us, is going to be their goal of the season. So let's hope he picks up more than one award.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Okay, and just before we go, just to mention on Uwe Rosler, he's done a very good job at Wigan.
Incredible job. He's turned it round. They were on an awful run, weren't they, under Owen Coyle, which I think ended with a defeat to Maribor in the Europa League, and then he left 2 or 3 days after that. But Rosler came in and they won 10 or 11 on the spin.
Yeah, a remarkable run.
But then you look at it, and I'll just look at my notes here. Only 3 wins in the last 10 in the Championship.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Fatigue possibly with the
and
Europa League.
it's interesting around the FA Cup that since the FA Cup fixture against Arsenal, they've lost 4 of their last 6 Championship
fixtures. Has the fatigue coming at the right time?
And 3 of the last 4, Burnley, Blackpool, Blackburn, they lost at home to Blackpool. I mean, they would have been huge odds on to win that, and Blackburn would have been huge odds against, given the run they were going through. So
I think Millwall got all 3 points against them as well.
Yeah. Yes.
So it does seem they've potentially hit a bit of a sticky patch, but
do you
like
start
Crystal Palace,
I think you've got to.
Yeah, completely. Because like Crystal Palace showed last season, they almost stumbled into the playoffs in the end. And I don't think anyone was fancying them to come on and win it, and that's precisely what they did. So you're right, it almost is, like people say, it's almost like
it's a mini season.
A 3-game season. Now you hope it's a 3-game season. So fingers crossed, we'll show you our video to whet the appetite once again. Thanks very much for joining us, and to Brian, of course. Oh my goodness!
Yes.
I did not announce a competition.
It's all gone wrong in the last 10 minutes.
One person who would have been devastated that I didn't announce it is the winner, who is at Chris Checkley. Congratulations to you, at Chris Checkley. You have won 2 tickets to Monday night's game against Wigan here at Loftus Road. Contact at AdamHolm86 to pick up your 2 tickets, organise picking those up. Enjoy the game on Monday evening. Thanks very much again to Brian for joining myself and Ian here. And we shall see you on the other side.
Finished it himself. Gets away 22nd string at Queen's Park Rangers League. It's Krumov Forest, but it's party time for QPR, who found their mojo as they head to the playoffs.
Carlisle through the middle for Paul Furlong. Away from Hall. Furlong!